Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Expana's Morning Market Roundup. Today is Tuesday, July the 2nd. I hope all of you are doing well. In case I forget later in our video, I do want to wish all of you a very happy 4th of July, and I hope that you spend it with friends and family and be safe out there, and of course, eat a lot of protein. So with that said, we are going to open up this morning with Mason Augustino. And Mason, we've got a big holiday coming up, a big grilling holiday, certainly. And you're going to spend a little time educating us as it focuses on the pork market and specifically the butt side of things and spare ribs. Good morning, Mason.
Hey, good morning, Rustin. Good morning, everybody that might be watching today. So we're basically here. 4th of July is just around the corner. And I kind of just wanted to take a look at some of the grilling and smoking items that may be seeing some interest, or in this case, not seeing as much interest following Memorial Day holiday. So first off here, we're just going to be taking a look at the spare rib, and this is going to be your main commodity item when it comes to the ribs. And we can see here, we're actually trending slightly below 2023 levels right here when we saw increased demand during 2023 for the 4th of July season, but also in 2023 when we had demand into California for Proposition 12 material. But as of right now, I mean, throughout the beginning of the year, we saw a pretty large incline here. The market was relatively firm through January, February, and March. And we saw a little bit of softness to the lead up of Memorial Day. And now for the most part, most buying has been done on the spot market for this item, as a lot of retailers are basically set with material, just spare ribs for the grilling season here. So it's been slightly trending down. I'll give it an about steady call, and basically trending right below 2023, where we saw a decline during the 4th of July here. And I would say the main story behind this item is going to be cold storage. So in the beginning of the year, we saw that large increase in price. Well, that largely had to do with the main disparity between 2023 and 2024 cold storage levels. So in 2023, we saw cold storage levels take that dip into the summertime, where we saw suppliers start to use some of that cold storage rib material. Whereas now, about the same time, we see this dip here into the heading towards the 4th of July for the spare rib item. But there hasn't really been a whole lot of demand on the fresh side as we head closer to the 4th of July and materials basically set. And now another item I just wanted to take a look at is the 1/4-inch trim butt. And this is going to be your main item for pulled pork. You can see throughout most of the year, we've seen a relatively higher market compared to 2023. And this mostly has to do with international demand. But when we come towards the 4th of July here, we can see that the prices have actually come down here a little bit. And this mostly has to do with, I would say moderate at best demand for pulled pork right now. Where in 2023, we saw a lot of, again, that material, fresh pork material going to California. So we saw, a large increase in demand for this item, where this time this year, we're not really seeing, a whole lot of demand. And on the international side, your biggest buyer is probably going to be South Korea for this item. And you can see, I mean, even looking at a monthly view, how large the volume's been recently compared to year-over-year levels. But when taking a look at a weekly view, we can see volumes have kind of declined here from the United States exporting material to South Korea. So there's been a little bit of a slowdown here on the international side, and demand on the domestic side has been relatively moderate for pulled pork. So as we head into the summertime here, we're kind of just keeping an eye on this market, but relatively the market's mostly steady here as we head into the 4th of July, and most material for your pulled pork is bought up for the moment. And that's it on the pork side.
And thank you, Mason. Boy, you could darn near set your watch by that spare rib cold storage, those figures. I mean, about this time last year, about the year before that, boom, down she goes. And I guess retail is very consistent with that item. And I had forgotten how influential the California market was last year as well on the pork side of things. Well, Mason, as always, we appreciate your insight. And that brings us to Sam Zawacki. And Sam, you're going to speak to us about, well, as you put it earlier, some recent adjustments on the downside of the egg market. Good morning, Sam. Hope you're doing well.
Good morning, Russ. And yes, that's right. I'm here to talk a little bit about the recent price adjustments that have been occurring in the shell egg market. So after a contra-seasonal rise in the Expana benchmark price for Midwest Large, which peaked around $2.68, negotiated values on the open market began to decline. Our market has seen about a 19-cent downward adjustment to about $2.49 from that peak in the last 2 weeks. And even though the values have been moving down, I'm using the term price adjustments and price corrections because it isn't really safe to call it a weak market or a soft market. Rather, like I said, undergoing price adjustments and price corrections. And to kind of explain that a little bit more and set the stage a little bit more, I'd like to pull up a chart. So this is the USDA table egg layers on hand for the past 10 years. As we can see, we're at pretty low numbers historically speaking. So traditionally, summer is a time for flock rotations and taking birds out of their houses due to slower demand that many participants expect around this time of year. And the combination of this practice and what's been notably different between this year and previous years is the number of HPAI cases we've had that's kind of led our market to this position. As you can see, we only have around 3 million more layers in this time in 2022, which was a year also affected by HPAI. You can see the effects of this if I bring up a cyclical chart of prices that we've seen. You can see in the 2024 line, the red line, the recent market cap we've hit the recent market cap we've hit and how it starts to descend. Yet also you can really see how elevated the current value is in relation to other values, with 2022 really being the only year that's nearby. So what really caused these price adjustments if the market isn't really in a long position, as demonstrated by the USDA table egg layers on hand chart? And that's really just kind of due to the hotter temperatures that we've been feeling. Many consumers are opting for colder breakfast options like fruits and cereals over eggs that take the hot stove to cook over to enjoy. We've seen lighter order volumes at the retail chains because of this, along with very high shelf prices at many independent stores, which is kind of stifling consumer interest. There are some national retailers and some discounting stores that are still holding competitive deals for items like 5 dozen boxes, but those prices are also on the rise as well, which is slowing movement. On the distribution end and food service side, or while it's kind of defined as a mixed call right now, with the recent price adjustments down, many distributors are taking a wait and see kind of cautious approach, which is kind of quieting demand on that front. And as well, export demand to our northern neighbor Canada, who is our biggest partner, is kind of relatively subdued at this moment in time, as there's really slowed retail demand kind of noted over there as well. I also want to briefly highlight the price adjustments in medium eggs as opposed to the larger sizes, as they've been going down at a bit slightly faster of a clip than the larger sizes. Basically, the recent heat has affected this market as well. Many birds produce smaller sized eggs in response to this to the extreme heat. And that has really left some producers with more mediums than they expected to have for this time of year and not really much to do with them. So with the kind of extended supply in relation to the larger sizes that they've shown, that producers have been a bit more negotiable on this size when trying to sell it on the open market. And I believe that's really all I have for today. So thank you.
And thank you, Sam. Boy, something tells me that that will not be the last time that we are speaking about the summer heat and its influence on the various commodities that we covered during our videos. Thanks, Sam. I always appreciate the update. So everybody, thank you for joining us. This has been Expana's Tuesday morning market update for July the 2nd. I hope you all have a very happy 4th of July, and thank you for joining us.